Hello, dear students. Warm greetings to all of you. What are you doing now? Well, you all are studying, watching, or enjoying the video. So, studying, watching, or enjoying are all actions. It is a work that you are doing now. It depicts something which you are doing. And today, yes, you guessed it right. We are going to do Lesson 7 Verbs from your English grammar book, Know Your Grammar. As you all know that verbs are called action words or doing words. In another word, you can say that verbs are action words. Now let us see the definition of verb. A verb is a word which tells us what a person or thing does, or what a person or thing is. Without a verb, we cannot write or speak a sentence. That means that verb is a very important part of English grammar. A verb tells us all about the subject. It tells us what the subject is doing or what the subject is. Let us see few examples. Here in example 1, Alex is going for fishing. It shows an action that Alex is now going for fishing. In the second example, my brother painted the fence. Again, the word painted is a verb here. It shows action. Now let us learn about verbs of doing, being, or possession. The first one is verb of doing. Now verb of doing, as the word itself signifies, tells us what a noun does or is doing. It tells us that what the noun, the subject, is doing. Here is an example. The farmer is watering the crops. In this sentence, it is telling the action of the farmer, that what is the farmer doing? And the answer is that the farmer is watering the crop. It means that the farmer is giving water to the crop. So it shows some action, that what is actually being done. What is the subject or what is the noun doing? In the second one, verb of being tells us what a noun is or in what condition the noun is. It tells us the condition of the noun. It tells us the state of the noun. Like in this example, Alice is very happy. It tells us, the word is tells us that what is the condition of Alice? What is Alice's condition right now? It is telling us the state of Alice, that Alice is very happy. Or it can be, these are old books. It is telling the condition of the books. It is stating the condition that the books are very old. So here is signifying that Alice is very happy. It is telling the condition of the noun. The third one, verb of possession. As you all know, possession means things which belongs to someone. It tells us what belongs to a person or thing. For example, Nick has a talking parrot. Here, has a talking parrot shows that Nick, what does Nick have? That the talking parrot belongs to Nick. So here it states the possession. It shows the belongingness. Here, if I give you another example, like I have a ferocious dog. Here, the verb have shows that what you have. Who is the owner of that ferocious dog? So here it shows the possession. Now let us see what are auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs, in another word, we can call them helping verbs. Auxiliary means helping or helper. So auxiliary verbs help the main verb and it's called helping verbs. We can either call them as helper verb also. With auxiliary verbs, you can write sentences in different tenses. Auxiliary verbs. Now these are the examples of auxiliary verbs like be, do, have, had, will, shall, would, is, are, were. These are all auxiliary verbs. These are all helping verbs. Now let us see few examples. Albert is writing a letter to his cousin. In this sentence, suppose if I read the sentence as Albert writing a letter to his cousin. I think you would very clearly say that ma'am has missed a word. Something is missing. And yes, that something is. Writing here is your main verb and is the helping verb. It is supporting the main verb. Is supporting the main verb, that is writing. So here is your auxiliary verb, that is the helping verb. In the second sentence, Jim had cleaned the floor. Here, had is your helping verb because had is supporting the main verb, that is clean. In the same way, they will play golf in the evening. Here, play is your main verb and will is the auxiliary or the helping verb because it is supporting the main verb, that is play. And if you see it clearly, all these three sentences clearly tell you about the tense also. Like Albert is writing a letter to his cousin. Here, it is in the present context. It is telling you about the present form, the present time. In the same way, Jim had cleaned the floor. Had cleaned signifies that something which has already been done. Jim had already cleaned the floor. So it is in the past context. It tells you about the past. Similarly, in the third way, they will play golf in the evening. It is a prediction, something which is going to happen. So will play is in the future context. It tells you about the future. So hence, it is proof that different tenses can be formed with the auxiliary verbs. Now let's see what are direct and indirect objects. I'll explain you with an example here. Jack bought a coat for his brother. Now this is a sentence. I'm going to repeat again. Jack bought a coat for his brother. In this sentence, Jack is a subject because we are talking about Jack. So Jack is your subject here. Verb is bought. It is an action. So verb is bought. And if you see it clearly here, there are two objects. One is coat and one is brother. So hence in this sentence, there are two objects. One is coat and one is brother. So we have to find when a sentence has two objects, we can either call that object a direct object or an indirect object. An object can be a direct object and indirect object. Now, how to find out which one is a direct object and which one is an indirect object? And what actually is a direct object and indirect object? Now, first, let us see what are direct objects. Direct object. Now, I'll continue with the same example. Like Jack bought a coat for his brother. It's the same example that I'm explaining with. Now let us see what are direct objects. Now, direct object is the object that receives the direct impact of the action. Now, direct object is the object that receives the direct impact of the action. And remember always that a direct object will always answer the question what. It will always answer the question what. W-H-A-T, what. Like in the above sentence, Jack bought a coat for his brother. Here, coat is a direct object as it answers the question. And what can be the answer? What could be the question? The question is, What did Jack bought for his brother? What did Jack bought for his brother? Yes, the answer of course is coat. Jack has bought a coat for his brother. So what is the question? What did Jack bought for his brother? The answer is coat. So hence, coat is your direct object because it is giving the answer to the question what. So hence, it is a direct object. Now in the same way, let us see what are indirect objects. I'll continue with the same example. The example was Jack bought a coat for his brother. In this sentence, we have to find out what is an indirect object now. So let us first look what is an indirect object now. Indirect object is the object that receives the direct object. And indirect object will always answer the question whom. W-H-O-M, whom. It will always answer the question whom. Like in the above sentence, Jack bought a coat for his brother. So, what is going to be the indirect question? For whom did Jack bought a coat? The indirect question is going to be, for whom did Jack bought a coat? So, the answer obviously will be brother. It is his brother. So, hence, brother is your indirect object. So remember, for the direct object, to find the direct object, you always have to put a question, that is what. And for indirect object, the question will always be whom. Now, as you all know that there are two kinds of verbs. One verb is the transitive verb and the other is the intransitive verb. So the two kinds of verbs are transitive verb and intransitive verb. Now let us first see what are transitive verbs. Transitive verbs are the verbs that have an object to receive an action. That means that a transitive verb will always have an object. Transitive verbs require an object to complete their meaning. That a transitive verb always requires an object to complete its meaning. That means that the action passes to the object. Like let's see for example, I like chocolate. Here the action word like passes to chocolate and the chocolates are the object. So hence it's a transitive verb. In the same way, in the second example, Nick baked some buns. Here, buns is your object and it is receiving the baked, the action. It is receiving the action is being passed to buns. So it is again an example of transitive verb. Now come to the intransitive verb. Now let us see what are intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs are the verbs that do not have an object to receive an action. That means that intransitive verbs do not have an object. Intransitive verb does not pass the action to an object. That means the action doesn't pass to the object. It finishes there with the action only. Like for example, the baby smiled. Here, the verb smile is not passing to the object. In the same way, the lion roared. Here again, the roared action is not being passed. You don't have an object here. Now, suppose if you have to make the intransitive verb into transitive, then you have to add an object to it. Like, the lion roared in a jungle. So here jungle will be your object and the road is passing to the jungle. In the same way, Nick baked, full stop. That means the action is finished there. It is not being passed to any object. So now I think you have understood what are transitive verbs and what are intransitive verbs. Now let's come and just recapitulate what you have just learned. First, we are going to recapitulate what are direct objects and indirect objects with few examples for the better understanding. Now here I have categorized it like subject, verb, indirect object and direct object. As I've told you very clearly that indirect object always, always answers the question whom, and a direct object will always answer the question what. Like, let's see the first example. My mother gave me a necklace. In this sentence, my mother is a subject. The verb is gave. And what is the indirect object here? Now for that, you have to frame a question. Like, my to whom did my mother give a necklace? So your answer is going to be me. So me is your indirect object. Now, if you want to find a direct object, so what is the question going to be? What did my mother give me? And your answer is going to be a necklace. In the same way, Peter told Sam a folk tale. Here, Peter is your subject, verb is told, and now just to find the direct object. What is the question that you are going to frame? Like, what did Peter told Sam? So your answer is going to be a folk tale. So it is a direct object. To whom did Peter told a folk tale? The answer is going to be Sam. In the same way, Sean showed me the photograph. Sean is your subject because we are talking about Sean. The verb is showed. And let's find the indirect object. To whom did Sean show the photograph? The answer is me. In the same way, what did Sean show me? The answer is the photograph. So obviously, the photograph is going to be the direct object here. Now coming to the last example. The king rewarded the knight his sword. Now here knight means a soldier. The king rewarded. What did the king reward the knight? The answer is going to be his sword. So his sword is the direct object here. And the indirect object, to whom did the king reward his sword? The answer is going to be the knight. So in this way, you can just identify which object is a direct object and which is an indirect object in a sentence. You just have to remember that two words. For indirect object, the question word is whom, and for the direct, it is always what. Now let's again recapitulate the transitive and the intransitive verbs. Now coming to the first example. She advised me to consult a doctor. Here, advice is your verb and it is being passed to the doctor. Or consult is your verb, you can say, and it is being passed to the doctor. So it has an object. So hence, it's the transitive verb. Suddenly, the child woke up. Now, it is an intransitive verb because the action is not being passed on. Metals expand on heating. Again, it's an intransitive verb because the verb expand and heating is not being passed down. It has finished there. The boy is flying the kite. Here, in this, the action is being passed to kite. So hence, it is a transitive verb. I hope you have understood the concept, and I will be uploading notes and exercises for the better understanding of the topic. So all of you have a nice day. Thank you.